I get nothing.
I get nothing. What
I get the ball stolen from me.
Yeah, I don't want a ball. You can have it. Bye. I'm going to work. Even when you're not quitting, people leave you.
Absolutely.
Even when you're still a full-time working agent, you'll have a client leave you. I'm not being chased by a bear right now. I'm just trying to write a repair request.
Right. Right. Like, hello. Cheers to them
I know.
for taking the freaking 3-day weekends like it's their literal job.
It is.
Hi, Alissa.
Hey, Katy.
It's episode 251. Today we're going to talk about working to live.
Yes, not living to work.
Not living to work.
Mm-mm.
No.
This is probably one of my favorite topics.
Oh, good. I hope that'll bring the energy to you.
Because you know I can't say no to fun things.
Oh, that's true. This is like your mantra.
But I can say no to work. If I have to.
Look, I think that's great. As an achiever, I'm actually pretty surprised.
That came with practice.
That's how I feel about working to live.
Yeah.
It came with practice.
I mean, the moment that I had my first job, I loved to work.
Are you of German descent?
I'll have to check my 23andMe.
I'm
been a minute.
of German descent.
Okay.
Partially. Lots of other things. But apparently that's a very Germanic thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like that too. And my dad values people based on how hard they work.
Yeah.
And it's very much ingrained in me. Like, I am a hard worker by nature.
Right.
I think you are kind of born a hard worker or better,
yeah, I do think
better at the relaxing.
I do think there's a gene component to
Yes,
it.
for
Because,
sure.
you know, we talk a lot on the show about burnout and boundaries. And it's like, I have to set boundaries, not because I'll burn myself out, but because I love to work so much that I could actually, like, okay, the week that we are recording this, Tanner is out of town this week, the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the kids to bed last night early, and I knew that he wasn't in town. And so I just wasn't checking my email all day because I was like, they go to bed at 7. I'll just put on a cooking show and open my laptop and just go to town.
Okay.
So last night, that's what I did. I had a lot. I was actually like, oof, this got a little out of hand.
You're like,
and it took me about an hour and a half
to empty it.
to get it.
Wow.
Yeah. And there was still like 4 or 5 in there by the end of it. But I scheduled everything to send this morning and just got everything taken care of. And I was like, I just felt so great. I really enjoyed myself.
Right. When you love your work, what's the quote? When you love your work, you never work a day in your life.
Yes.
You're like, I love it.
For example, when I turned 15,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I played soccer in high school. I was never like a star athlete or anything. I'm like, if you want the ball that bad, just take it. It certainly is not that important to me.
Right.
I played soccer like pretty much my whole life. Okay. I mean, some in elementary, middle school, high school. Okay. Then I turned 15 and was like, I think I want a job. So my first job was at Raising Cane's.
Okay.
I could not work the register or talk to customers because I was not 16 yet.
Okay.
But I could make like lemonade and cane sauce and whatever. It was right by my house.
Right.
So once I got a job and I got my first paycheck,
You're like, whoa.
I was like hooked. I thought, why would I ever go to soccer practice?
You didn't earn money any other way before that?
No.
Okay.
I don't really remember life before that. In the financial sense.
Your life began as soon as you started working.
Yeah, I just don't remember like the financial sense. Like I don't remember having an allowance. I think it was like if we needed something, we just asked.
Yeah.
And, it was there. But I don't remember like budgeting an allowance and doing all that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm also not a big spender, so I don't think I was like needing all these things.
Right.
Well, then I was like skipping soccer practice to pick up extra shifts.
You're like, I would much rather make money.
I am hooked. Yeah, I go to work, I get a paycheck. I go to soccer practice.
I get nothing.
I get nothing.
I get the ball stolen from me.
Yeah, I don't want a ball. You can have it. Bye. I'm going to work. Hey there, are you looking for ways to save time and money in your business?
Email Templates 101 is the communication system you need to bring ease and efficiency to managing your transactions and clients.
Save time and avoid mistakes, all while providing a high level of service for your buyers and sellers.
In Email Templates 101, you'll get 13 downloadable buyer templates ready for your personal touches.
And 19 downloadable seller templates, plus 6 attachment checklists.
Head over to hustlehumblypodcast.com/courses to get yours today.
And then I worked at Cane's for like 2 years, and then I switched to Brewbacher's. I was still in high school. Brewbacher's is like a sandwich place, po' boy place, burgers. They serve beer though. They have beer, and so I got my liquor license, and I remember being like, "Wow, this is like $8 an hour. So much better than what I was making at Cane's at the time." And then my first shift.
Oh, right. I remember this.
The end of my first shift, they came and handed me like $28.
You're like, what's this?
And I was like, in cash. And I was like, what is this for? And they were like, it's your tip out. I was like, I get this and I'll still get my paycheck with $8 an hour. And they were like, yeah. Oh my gosh. I just was like
hooray!
A little hoarder from that point on. Worked my way up to working LSU games at sports bars and stuff, and just raked it all in. And it was very, to this day, I've told you this before, if I wouldn't be recognized, I would still bartend or wait tables. Like I just loved.
You loved the work.
I loved the work. I never really had a job that I hated.
Good for you.
When did you like figure out if you like to work?
I started working when I was 12. Hardcore. I had a regular babysitting gig at least once a week. And I babysat multi-times a week. Like I had a sock drawer full of cash.
Yes.
Now
I remember the drawer.
So many years ago, I was getting paid $2 an hour. And minimum wage was maybe $4.25.
To babysit?
I got paid $2 to babysit. $2. My best client paid me $5 an hour.
Wow.
Best one.
Yeah.
Okay. So it took a while to accumulate any cash, right? But I did love working, and I didn't even want the money for anything either. It wasn't like I was saving to buy a car or I'll just
same. I had
work.
No goals.
I don't know why.
My goal was to have as much money as I could in my drawer.
Right. Woo-hoo. I mean, I could still hear the sound of that drawer opening. I also remember at some points my mom would be like, she needed some cash for something. There'd be a bunch of IOUs in the drawer because I was the one with like consistent cash.
Right.
Anyway, so I did that forever. And then during college, I worked in an office, actually a commercial real estate office, like doing accounting.
Oh.
Hated that.
Okay. Yeah.
Horrible. I was like, hate being in an office, hate doing accounting, hate this monotony, hate. No love for that. Then I ended up in retail, which is probably more entertaining, right? Like you're with people your age, you're basically goofing around.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. There's music.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then when I got into retail management, like when I was done with school, and I was just like, oh, this is horrible because I'm working very hard.
Yes.
And only being compensated as a salary, no matter if I worked extra hours, no matter if I worked harder than everyone else who made the same salary, no matter if the people who'd been there longer than me were making a higher salary, which I knew, and working not as hard as I was. I'm like, I need to at least be paid per my work.
Sure.
And that's how I ended up in real estate.
And I think that's why I also love real estate so much, is that I know some people say, well, I work really hard and I have nothing to show for it.
Right.
Have I had moments like that?
Sure.
I've had moments where people are like, are you so busy? And I'm like, busy, yes. Productive, no. I feel like, I've had seasons where all I'm doing is putting out fires and,
trying to keep it together.
Yes, there's certainly seasons like that. But when you reap it, it's like, it's really good when you've done what you're supposed to and built the business. All of these stories to start off to say that it's very easy to lose yourself in real estate.
Right, because in the beginning you have to work a lot to build up to actually making the money. And then all of a sudden, like you do the weekend open house and you do the showings after 5. And then all of a sudden it takes off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just in the habit of working after 5, working Saturday and Sunday. Like you don't actually have a day off. Before you had all the days off. Because you weren't busy.
And it sneaks up on you. Before you know it, I haven't had a day off in 3 months. You know,
right.
like you don't even realize it because you are living and breathing for real estate every day. You wake up and you are controlled by your email and your phone, and you go to bed the same way. And it's on repeat until the next thing you know. So we are here today to remind you to check in with yourself.
So let's take this in a different direction. What does it mean to you to be well-rounded? I'll give you an official definition while you think about it.
Yeah.
Involving or having experience in a wide range of ideas or activities. That's what it means to be well-rounded. So you can't just work, right?
Right.
You can't just work. You need to, ideally, you want to be well-rounded.
Correct.
So you're having experience in a wide range of activities, work being just one of them.
Yes.
Right? Okay, so let's talk about hobbies. Do you currently have any hobbies?
Yeah.
What would you say when you turn off work are the things that you're doing that are the living part?
I love to travel when I can, even if it, like right now, I'm in a season of life with little kids. So it's like if I can get away from a Friday through a Monday or a Tuesday through a Friday, like I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So as many little trips as I can fit in, I love to do that. I love to read. I love to.
Yeah, you have book club every month.
Every month. I mean, and I love a hard book, like getting in bed and just turning the pages and being like, what is going to happen?
Yeah.
When you're reading a book, you actually cannot think about anything else.
Right.
Because you're reading.
Right.
Like that, it is consuming you.
Yeah.
When I'm audiobooking, I can wander in my thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't let me shut it off all the way. But I also love to just like be outside.
Yeah, I have the same thing in my notes. I like to be outside.
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. You could be outside and start scrolling.
For sure.
So you have to sort of be doing something, right? Are you gardening? Are you, riding your bike? Are you like doing some kind of activity?
Yeah. So I like to walk. So me and Tate's thing is picking up sticks. We have 1.5 acres. There's a lot of trees.
A lot of sticks.
And if the wind blows or we have a rainstorm, there are sticks. And so me and Tate will just go out there and make the biggest pile of sticks that we can.
That's fun.
And it's really fun. And you know what's even funnier? The first time we were doing it, well, Tate just started doing it, picking up sticks. And then I'm like, we really do need to do this because like the yard guy's going to come. And so I started picking up sticks. And I instantly remembered when I bent down and picked up my first stick, my grandmother, my mom's mom, was like OCD about picking up sticks.
Out of the yard?
Out of the yard.
That's
and she just passed away last year. So, and we were super close. So I'm like, all of a sudden, in the moment I picked up a stick, I was like, she was with me and I was like thinking of her and I hadn't remembered that she was like that.
Oh my gosh.
So now me and Tate pick up sticks and I do have to have like something I'm doing, like you said.
Yeah,
I can't just like go sit outside and
listen to them.
I mean, I'll swing on the porch swing. I can do that for like 30, 45 minutes, which is a long time.
Doing nothing.
Yeah. I can do that. But otherwise, I do like to be doing something. I love to work out.
Yeah.
You know, just I have a lot outside of work that is important to me. It's also like very important to me to be available for like field trips.
Yeah.
Or volunteer at parties. And this isn't really about like outside of the benefits it gives me for work. Even if I was a stay-at-home mom, that is something that would be very important to me.
Right. Spend the time at school where you have the opportunity. Okay. I liked this quote from Stephen Covey. The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. So like if you really wanted to stick with your picking up sticks, it'd be like 5 p.m. every day, stick pick up, you know, like even if it's 10 minutes, you prioritize what's on your schedule.
Yes.
So you have to schedule it. Yeah. Okay. I don't think kids are technically a hobby. I would say they are living though. Like
Yeah.
you have a family, you want to spend time with them. It is definitely not your job, right? It's not your regular job where you're making money. So spending time with your kids is not a hobby, but is living. Okay. So that's what our designator is. We're working so that we have the money so that we can spend time at the field trip with the kids.
Yes.
But also you need probably a hobby.
Oh, yeah.
At least one.
So a hobby or things that you do simply for the pleasure of doing them.
Simply for fun.
No, not because it makes you look better or feel. It's just simply because you like to do it. Is preserving who you are.
Yeah.
It is your identity at its truest core.
Yes.
And in real estate and motherhood and anything else that can consume you in such a way as a career and parenting, it is very easy to lose your identity.
Yeah.
And remember what you used to like to do and what things used to bring you joy before these things consumed you.
Yeah.
So preserving those things is not just preserving quote unquote hobbies, but it is preserving your actual identity with
or giving
who
you
are.
an identity.
Yes.
Okay, so I found this great article. I want to read you some of it. It was actually from the University of Valley Forge. It was a study on hobbies. Okay. So a true hobby engages us in what is called active leisure. Meaning an activity that requires thought, skill, creativity, or movement. Absorbing an entire TV series in 3 days is called passive leisure. Okay, still leisure, but passive leisure. And while there's a time and place for that too, it doesn't have the same benefits. Okay, so I'm going to give you some of the benefits of having a hobby. Doing an activity simply for enjoyment is intrinsically valuable. It promotes eustress, eustress, or good stress, allows a break from the mundane and affords a sense of inspiration in every aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Hobbies are also proven to make you think more creatively, which you need in real estate for the record. Simply put, they enliven you. More than just your mind, your body benefits from a hobby too. Of course, if your hobby involves exercise, like if you're playing pickleball or something, you'll reap the benefits in full. But even sitting still and knitting can have a positive impact on your body. Hobbies lower blood pressure and cortisol and can even shrink your waistline.
Don't you think we all need this in real estate?
100%.
Like a reduction in cortisol.
Yes. Plus, the positive emotions connected with your chosen pastime can speed your recovery from illness like colds. Like you're like, I'm ready to get back out and play tennis or whatever you're doing. When you participate in something new, you meet new people, good for real estate, who share the same interest and form connections that would be impossible otherwise. They make you a more interesting person. Your hobbies. People like passion and they like people with stories to tell. Also, a hobby adds new aspects to your identity. Not only do they give you something to do, they give you someone to be.
Oh, that is so good.
Right?
I'm gonna write that down.
So I really loved, there were so many articles about hobbies and all the benefits and truly, giving yourself purpose outside of your work or your family life or things that are, your jobs, if you will, is really important to your mental and your physical health.
Yeah.
And then you have more to give to your work or your family or whatever. This is a really good backwards boundaries episode.
It is.
Do you know what I mean? Like taking care of yourself, having a hobby. You're like, oh,
actually
that sounds
makes
like
you better.
That sounds like a luxury. Like most people who have especially small children be like, that's a luxury I don't have. But you have 5 minutes to read.
Yeah.
You have 5 minutes to, if you choose reading to be your hobby, you have 10 minutes to, garden or water your plants or do like there is a pocket of time.
For sure.
There's always a pocket of time.
Well, my favorite quote that I've clung to for a few years now is don't lose yourself for a career that would replace you immediately if you left. We're over here giving our all and people think they have to give every single thing. They have to leave it all on the table in the name of real estate. And if you were to leave real estate, do you know how quickly they'd be like, oh, that's sad. We'll miss you.
Aunt
Next.
Susie's a realtor.
Yeah. Just call Aunt Susie. Guess we'll use her now.
Now I don't have to make a decision.
So what are we even sacrificing ourselves for? What sort of reciprocation here? I mean, even when you're not quitting, people leave you.
Absolutely.
Even when you're still a full-time working agent, you'll have a client leave you.
And imagine if all you ever did was work. That would be that much more devastating if you couldn't turn off work and be like, well, now I'm going to go do whatever I think is fun, right? Like you got to step away and do what's fun. Here's a good Simon Sinek quote. Working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion.
Oh, that's great. Such a difference.
Such a difference.
The times that I have been like the best mother and the best at my job is after a break.
Yeah.
I miss it. I miss the work. I miss my kids. I'm ready to get back into it and like be the best I can. When I take a step away, I see things so clearly.
Yeah.
And I can tell when I'm working with other agents who have probably never listened to the podcast before.
Right.
And I'm like, you need hustle humbly in your life, you know?
Right.
But I can tell, I feel so sad for them because you can hear the desperation in trying to save a deal, their frustration at the end of their rope with their difficult client.
Yeah.
Like everything is such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And that comes when you have just totally lost your perspective.
Yeah.
So have you seen the meme that's like, you know, genetically we're wired for fight or flight. So I'm trying to convince my body that I'm not being chased by a bear right now. I'm just trying to write a repair request.
Right. Right. Like, hello.
Yeah. It's like, it's not that serious. It's
Yep.
not that serious. But our body's reactions to things without the proper breaks, without the proper perspectives, they go into this super burnout mode where your cortisol is just running.
Yep.
And you're like, it's just I just want to hug. I'm not even a big hugger, but when I hear these agents that are just,
like, you need a hug.
I'm like, you need something. You need to go for a walk.
Right. Like it should not feel like a hamster wheel.
No.
You should be getting off of it. Maybe not every day, but at least once a week. You should really separate yourself. So I had in here what I would say. If you're feeling like, okay, you're right. All I ever do is work or take care of my family. And so I don't have a lot of me time or hobbies or do anything for fun. Just simply ask yourself, what did I do for fun this week? Mm-hmm. For me, that I thought was fun. What did I do for fun this week? And just keep asking yourself that every week. You just need to do one. It doesn't have to, look. Ideally, you get to take time off every day and do your hobby, but just do at least once a week. You like take some time and do that. Okay, what's one hobby you would like to pick up, Alissa Jenkins?
Okay, are you ready? I was hoping you would ask me this.
Oh God, I'm so excited.
It would probably okay, I'll just say it. I would love to take like a photography class and get a good camera.
Do you want to go with me? That's exactly what I wrote down.
Look at you.
And I want to take a class and get a good camera.
Huh.
Should we go together?
Yeah. Well, I do. I'm worried that I will take too many photos.
Like, you don't have to keep them.
I know.
You could be like, oh, today I get to pick my favorite 3.
Yeah.
And then the rest have to go to the trash.
I also want to get one. There's a okay, y'all know I love my telescope.
Okay, right? Oh, that's true. You have a stargazing hobby.
A little bit.
Okay. Moon gazing, you're moon gazing.
Yeah, that happened after reading like sci-fi books that I never thought I would be into, but
then you're like, I better take a look out there.
The 2 I've read that I'm just totally hooked on. But it also, when you're looking at the moon, you're like, do you know how small I am?
So small.
Do you know that there is more world out there than just these transactions? Okay, my point in telling you about that is there's apparently like a telescope with an app and things that will take the picture of what you see in the telescope.
Ooh, that's cool.
You know, how it shows like how you see the moon and then how your iPhone sees the moon.
Yeah. They're so ridiculous.
So
like a dot.
small.
Just a dot.
Like no matter how many times you take a picture of the moon, it never looks good. Also, if you don't follow NASA on Instagram, You need to. It's amazing.
This is taking such an interesting turn.
Well,
right.
That's good.
So you want to learn photography, but also you want to you want to photograph from your telescope.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
But I just think I love to take pictures of my kids, the dogs, like they're so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Having a good camera and understanding
how to use it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I love that. What a great idea. I'd also like to learn to golf. I think Jay would appreciate that if I was into the golf. Ainsley and I took a painting class, and I always want to pick up painting. I feel like it's such a great creative outlet, but for some reason it never sticks. So I just don't know if that's not my thing, but I would go back to that. Our database template is the key to repeat and referral business, and it's free for you.
Your database is the foundation of successful business, and we want to help you get started.
Not sure who you would put on the list? Don't worry, we have ideas for you.
Grab your free database template and Who Do You Know list at hustlehumblypodcast.com/start here. So on that note, I have a friend that was a big writer. Okay, she loved to write. She was actually writing a novel.
Oh.
Well, this is when she was always been a writer. But then after she got divorced, she was like really into it. Like it was like her outlet. She loved it. She was finding herself. Well, then she met like the love of her life and they've been married for a few years now. And I'm like, how's that novel? And she goes, you're going to think this is crazy, but I have the hardest time writing when I'm like really happy.
Right. She's a tortured poet.
Yeah. Yes. Like that was her. And so maybe painting comes to you in times of like,
oh, well, I mean,
really stressful times, and we haven't had one in a minute.
I'm just not stressed.
Good for you.
I live a very stress-free life. It took time.
Yeah.
It took a lot of time and work and like
how do you
perspective.
Think you made it to this place?
Perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
It just like, it's not that serious. It's going to be okay. Like if I am coming from a better place, I do a better job. So like, why be all worried about it if I can't fix it? Like, I'm probably going to mess this up, but I remember reading, like, especially when you're like for children, like if they're having like anxiety or stress responses, you're supposed to ask yourself, am I safe right now? Like look around. Don't think about, oh, well, what if I don't have a closing next month? Or what if I, don't pay my taxes? Or what if I, get into a car accident? No, like if you're having an anxious moment and you're like projecting all that type of stuff, just say, am I safe right now? In my body, am I safe?
Sure. I'm
not currently having a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like, and it really does help. Like if you're having anxious thoughts, you can be like, well, I'm safe right now. It's really just, you got to work on that stuff.
I've been trying to say, worse things have happened.
True.
Worse things have happened.
Always true.
It's always true.
Yeah. No
matter what it is, worse things have happened.
For sure. There's definitely a time in my life when I couldn't have listed for you a hobby. Like I wouldn't have been like, yeah, I've got all these hobbies. Now when I went to be like, okay, well, what are my current hobbies? Well, I'm like the sweet peas are right now. So I'm gardening, but I don't garden all the time. Yeah. But they're there. Playing fetch with a dog, I feel like is an actual hobby.
Yeah.
Spending time with your pets, hobby. We like a little pickleball in the driveway. Big fan. Walking. I like walking. I'm not going to walk for exercise anymore. Like I am exercising, but I'm not like, let's go as fast as we can.
Right. You're not power walking.
What is my heart rate going to be? I'm more like, let's stroll.
Yeah.
Can we stroll?
I want to enjoy this walk.
That's fine. I'm just going to stroll. I love a bike ride. We like to go in the backyard and play bocce or cornhole. Like we play board games. Like we just play. We just play, right? Listening to podcasts. I'm listening to more podcasts for fun lately.
Yeah.
Instead of just for business information, which is fun. And then, I like vacation. I like to be outside. I want to canoe. I want to kayak. But I'm not doing that every day of my regular life.
No.
But it's more like a vacation hobby. But I could list some things, I feel like.
Yeah. Lots that you like to do.
I like to take pictures with my phone.
So when do you feel like your hobbies started? Because you said there was a time when there was no hobby, nothing that you like. What were you?
My kids are old.
I was gonna say, were you in the? Did you?
I don't have.
You had little
once
kids?
Everyone's potty trained and can be left in a room without me worrying that they might physically harm themselves.
Sure.
So like. The last 6 years. I mean, after your kids turn 4 or 5, I feel like you could step away for a moment.
I'm almost there.
And trust them. right?
Yeah.
Not like 100%
Might take me
perfectly.
a little longer with Tate. But,
like he's a little wild.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think that, but I do wish I had this frame of mind when my kids were littler.
Mhm.
Like maybe I just needed to be more into cooking or like something that I was doing anyway.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Because I'm like, do you know how many times you have to feed these children?
So many. Like,
and
why
you
not
have
make
to
that
create
fun?
things. I know it's not the most fun thing for me.
No.
But it could be. Some people, that is their hobby.
Yeah, but before we had kids, Jay and I would always cook together, try new recipes. Like cooking is not what I would call my favorite hobby, but we did it together and it was a fun activity, right? And then when you have kids, it's more like a survival activity. Like they're screaming at you.
I have to.
Right.
You know, I was actually thinking about this the other day because Haven is really into reading right now.
Oh, I love that.
She's got, I got a note sent home from school. Every kid did. That was like, congratulations, your child has earned 250 AR points of the required 70. And I was
They're
like
really into it.
Yeah, she's my child. But I remember being like that in elementary school. And then 8th, 9th grade hits and they're making me read. And I don't get to choose the book. And it's these dry books that I have to read, these long novels, and I have to write essays. And then I just didn't like reading the rest of high school.
They ruined it.
They ruined it because they were
among
making
many other
me.
things school ruins.
Then, you know, once I got out of school, I'm like, oh, wait, books,
I did enjoy reading
like to read.
when you got to pick the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know that's kind of how it is with, there are plenty of things that you can have as a short, quick hobby when you have children that are small.
Yeah.
Or maybe they like to be in the stroller and now you can take your leisurely walk. I think we just are like, oh, well, I have a moment. I better go do some more work, or I better get my exercise in, or I better do something.
Laundry,
like some
productive.
sort of, you know, something that's required. But really, take a nap.
Oh.
I love a nap. Can sleeping be a hobby? I feel like it can.
It is for me.
I agree.
Not as much as it used to be.
Right.
But even before kids, especially before kids.
Oh, yeah.
I was a huge napper.
Me too.
Huge napper.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Okay. I believe that hobbies no hobbies should require you to feel guilty. So if you're taking time for your hobby, whatever it may be, you should not be feeling guilty. You should not be like, oh, I should be doing the laundry. Oh, I should be doing this. No, you should not feel guilty.
If this is your time.
Okay. And I have a confession I want to share with you.
Okay.
As I was preparing for this episode, I realized this. I have always been slightly annoyed at commercial real estate agents locally. I don't know how they are in the rest of the country, but I feel like locally it's sort of a dude gaggle.
What do they call it? The good fellas club? The good boys?
Good old boys.
Good old boys.
They have that vibe. Thank you. That plays right into this.
Yeah.
They are always hunting and fishing, and you can basically not find them on a Friday through a Sunday. They are doing their hobbies, right? Whatever, playing golf. I don't know, whatever they are.
Are we annoyed by them, or are we jealous?
That's what I'm like, I thought I was super annoyed about it. I'm like, God, can't you work and answer your phone? And now I'm like, oh, geez, Louise.
Yeah,
I was
good
just
for
jealous.
Them.
Like,
I know.
Good for you. You checked out. You checked out from Friday till Sunday?
I know. I wish.
Did what you wanted to do?
I have thought before that I wish commercial clicked with me. I even went through a phase a few years ago where I tried to make it quick. Me too. And I became, Carl, he's very involved with CCIM. And anywho, I went to some of his classes in New Orleans. Like I traveled. I took intro to commercial. I was like,
I did too.
I am made for this because it requires much less emotion.
More numbers.
More facts, data. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. I'm not going to beg you to buy this house, and I'm not fixing a leaky toilet. Like all the BS just seems...
No emotion, baby.
The grass seemed greener, okay? I'm not going to lie. It seemed greener and it seemed like a good fit for me.
Yeah.
But I just never could get it to click like I do with residential. Never.
You like people and they like numbers. I would maybe say is not that you don't like numbers, but it's just like I think you love taking care of people.
Yeah.
So you're not taking care of that's an investment. It's a very black and white business transaction. You would feel success, but you would not feel fulfillment.
Right.
There's a difference.
Oh, yes, there is a difference in success and fulfillment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But cheers to them.
I know.
For taking the freaking 3-day weekends like it's their literal job.
It is.
But
they're entertaining clients.
There are some definite gender roles, patriarchal type stuff that are playing into that, right?
Sure.
Like as a woman, you don't automatically say, well, I must have, well-rounded hobbies and things, or like, I got to care for this family, or like my parents, or like the community. Like you're putting that on yourself as a different layer on top of your job. Whereas maybe some fellas seems like they're like, that's not a layer I'm worried about.
See, Tanner has hobbies for sure, but he doesn't golf and he does not watch football.
Right.
Which is a huge blessing for me. Okay.
Right.
I mean, huge. He played football in college, but I think that's why he can't watch it.
Right. He's not.
He has to be emotionally invested. Like he has to know someone that's playing to watch it. So he just doesn't care to watch it. So it's like if he wants to go to a jujitsu class, it takes an hour and he's back. And then I can leave. I can't imagine him being like, I'm going to go golf for 6 hours. I'd be like, what on earth? Imagine if I said, I'm going to go, I don't know.
But here's the thing. There's a bajillion people golfing who do not feel guilty about it at all.
Good for them.
And they're looking for the next time on their calendar when they're going to go.
Yeah.
And I am all for it now, especially after reading all the studies on hobbies. I'm like, you do you.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do? I'm for it. But instead of being jealous, I'm just going to get my own 6-hour hobby. Do you know what? Like, I'm just going to have the hobbies.
Okay.
What is your plan?
I think I'm good where I'm at. I'm proud of myself and the hobbies I have at the moment.
I am too. I don't need to add anything. It's totally fine.
Yeah, I don't need to add anything.
I would like to give a piece of advice because it is my nature. And I don't know if you've ever felt this. Be like, oh, I could totally do paintings like that. That looks like fun. Ooh, and then I could sell them.
That is your achiever personality kicking in.
There's just this underlying entrepreneurial like thread where I'm like, but please, y'all, if you pick a hobby, photography, painting, I don't care what it is, knitting, resist the urge to also make that a business.
Right.
It's a hobby cannot also be your business.
And it's not your fault. It's in our nature, especially if you're in real estate. We have this way of thinking about things in terms of how can I make money?
And this is so funny. My dad is 72. He recently took a wood turning class, which I would classify as a hobby. Now, he does work in commercial construction, dirt, concrete, whatever. He has this workshop that he set up in the last few years to play with, to do wood projects. It is a hobby. He goes and takes this wood turning class, like the lathe, we make a bowl, out of wood. He's really excited about it. He comes back. He's learned all these new skills. I'm so happy for him. And then my mom's like, now he's going to sell them. And I'm like, but he already has a business.
He works already.
Fine.
This is just for fun.
But even he was like, yeah, I could make this much. I'm like, no.
You don't need it though.
No.
You don't need it.
You have a job. This is your hobby. When you cross it over to make it a job, it's no longer the hobby. Oh, and there's a fine line. You want it because if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. That vibe. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do something you like, but you should also have something you do literally just for fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want another quote?
Yes.
You're going to love who this came from. This is my last quote for today. Don't get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life.
Perfect.
Do you want to know who said that?
Who?
Dolly Parton.
Oh, good old Dolly. She knows her stuff.
She's so smart. What a wise lady, Dolly Parton. Anything? Oh, we didn't talk about word of the year. That was the last thing on my notes list.
That's more important to you.
I know, but I
forgot what mine is.
You don't know what your word is this year?
I forgot it.
Okay.
I had one.
Well, so a couple of years ago, I realized that I had a word, and I don't remember what it was that year. Let's just say it was elevate. Okay. But I'm like, this feels like work, like a work word. And then in the summer, I'm not trying to elevate anything. I'm trying to lay low, relax. So I'm like, I'm going to add play as my summer word. So this year I have 2 words, impact, which is my work word.
Yes.
And ease.
Ease.
So
that's a good one.
You kind of have to realize that you need both things.
You do.
You don't need it to be all go, go, go.
Mm-mm.
Sometimes you have to just play.
Yeah.
And rest.
You know, we're country music fans in my house.
Oh, yeah. I've heard.
And, you know, when a song starts, Haven likes to know ahead of time, what is it about? What's the story it's telling? So I have to pause it. I tell her what they're talking about, and then I press play. And she listens to it and goes, that was a great story. So this morning on the way to school, Dirks Bentley's song, Living, came on.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's perfect for all my country music fans to go listen to today.
Tell me what did you tell Haven?
It's just about how some days you're just there.
Okay.
But some days you're like really living.
Ah.
And he says like some days your heart's like pounding out of your chest. Some days it's just beating.
Mm.
But, you know, it's like talking about how you can be living.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you.
I like that.
But it's a good song.
Did she have any thoughts about the
song? She loved it.
Oh, that's cute.
Followed by Kenny Chesney, Don't Blink.
Oh.
So I had to pause it and be like, okay.
So now that we're living.
Yes, now that we're living, this is about a man who lived to be 102 years old. And this is his advice to all the people and what they should do, how they should live. And she was like, oh. And he says, and it's funny because, you know, she's 7. And it's like, one day you're 6 years old and you take a nap. And the next day you wake up and you're 25. And she was like, oh, Mom, like I'm going to be 25 one day. And Tate's like laughing. He said, I take naps. I said, yeah, Haven. And you used to be 3 like Tate.
Right.
And now you're 7. And then you're going to be 17. And she was like, and you're going to be 102. I was like, yeah, I know. But let's back up.
You're like, thanks.
But she gets really into like what it's saying.
That's cute.
I know, it's fun.
I love
country
that.
music has perks.
I didn't say it didn't. That's funny.
Well, this was great.
Okay, super. Our toast today is coming from Elizabeth Foster in Washington State, who's going to toast to her 3 teenage boys. I can't wait to hear what she says about Vincent, Dominic, and Anthony.
Vincent, Dominic, and Anthony.
How cute is that?
That's so cute.
Crush.
Okay, well, here we go.
Y'all get out there and get busy. Oh, now it makes me think of Shawshank. Get busy living or get busy dying. Just get out there and live. Okay, bye.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Foster. I am from Lakewood, Washington. I am toasting my 3 amazing teenage boys, Vincent, Dominic, and Anthony Foster. They are my why. I love them to pieces. They are what keeps me going. And I love all 3 of them very much. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Hustle Humbly podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to ratethispodcast.com/hustlehumbly and leave us a review or drop a comment if you're listening on Spotify.
If you have an episode topic or someone you'd like to toast on the show, please email us at team@hustlehumblypodcast.com.
Find us on social media at Hustle Humbly Podcast. Don't forget to find all of the free resources at hustlehumblypodcast.com/resources.
See you next week.